This is the RunDown, A2DRadio.com. Zach Burr, live in the A2DRadio.com studios. We're brought to you by BMW of Atlantic City. As I shed this nonsense that is a blanket surrounding me. It's plenty of women here now. We got the heat on, Frank.
Yep.
Frank Vespi on the ones and twos. I had a blanket when I first came in because it was all cold. And, you know, I'm a little girl and I get cold easily, so I had to have the blanket. Brought to you by BMW of Atlantic City. Minutes off of exit 37 of the Parkway. Easy to get to. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think with BMW of Atlantic City.
Where's everybody else?
Yeah, well, you know, Sean Watson is not here. And, you know, it was going to be call-out day anyway, okay? Yeah. Let's be honest. It was going to be call-out day, okay? That was just the way it was going to work. I had a certain bone to pick with certain individuals.
Oh, yeah.
Certain Eagles fans that seem to have their head up their damn ass and forgot about what logic and research, you know, and things like that are. And they decide to just sit here and talk out their ass on social media, and it's been driving me crazy for the past week. And not just social media, because you know it's been on you know the so-called big boys, right? You know the 97.5s and the 94 ones of the world. They've been running their mouths about it too. I've got a bone to pick with all the idiots, all the hypocrites, if you will, surrounding this whole Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook thing. So we'll dive into that. The question of the day, should the Eagles consider trading back in the first round? Because we're going to analyze the Eagles' offseason moves and play this NFL draft game where we put together our own personal Eagles mock draft.
Well, your personal mock draft. I don't have a mock draft ready to go.
Well, you know, you make one up on the fly. That's what we do.
I'll play along. It's just like old times when we did After Hours.
Exactly.
Just without the wacky soundtracks.
It's a reunion.
It's a reunion.
If you will.
It's the long-awaited reunion and return.
Well, I don't know about that.
Well, according to me, it was long-awaited.
Sidney Jones, you know, blew apart his Achilles, and that's kind of part of why at his pro day. If people that don't know, he blew his Achilles, blew up his Achilles, which pretty much takes him out of the first round picture. I still like the idea of possibly drafting him in mid-rounds. In the mid-rounds, I feel like maybe you could get a steal with that, but it takes him out of the first-round picture. So now I'm not opposed to the idea of possibly trading back. I still want to have a first-round pick, but I'm not opposed to trading back from 14 to, you know, the mid-20s somewhere.
Exactly.
To gather either, you know, an extra second-round pick or a couple extra third-round picks.
And that's what a lot of Eagles fans are worried about is Howie going to get rid of this first-round pick? Yes, the draft is in Philadelphia.
And see, to me, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. Business is business.
It's business. It's business.
Okay, like business is business. If you get a deal and it makes sense, you do it.
But you know that the fans don't want it to happen. They don't want it to happen.
And you know what a smart man that works at this station always says?
But you know it's going to happen regardless.
If you start listening to the fans, you're going to be a fan. That's where you're going to be, sitting with them. Okay?
Right.
Hey, he's a guy that happens to be a very smart guy that works at this station, has a big role in it, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
Tom Arnott, of course.
Of course.
The Messiah.
The Messiah of sports talk.
Yeah, the best in the business, no notes, as he likes to say.
Right.
You know, yeah. I mean, he has a saying. He's, you know, if you start,
he does have a saying.
Yeah, if you start listening to the fans and you start thinking like a fan, you're gonna be a fan. That's you're gonna be sitting with them on game day. So that's all nonsense to me. Business is business, and if you get a deal that, you know, seems like a good deal, I think you pull the trigger. I would do the Malcolm Butler deal that's out there now. It looks like Malcolm Butler's going to New Orleans, but I would give up the 14th pick for Malcolm Butler.
Right. I'm not sure what the Saints are going to give up for the.
Well, they might give up their first-round pick, which is even higher than ours, if I'm not mistaken. The 11th pick, maybe.
I believe it is an 11th overall pick for the Saints. But yeah, going back to the draft, I know that there will be a trade or two waiting to happen as we're leading up to the draft.
Are you opposed to trading back in the first round?
Personally, I do not oppose trading back. I do like the idea of trading down. Trading up, I'll pass.
Yeah, I mean, trading
I'll
up.
pass on trading up.
You see how much you got to give up to trade up.
Especially going through last year and how much we had to give up in order to get the number 2 overall pick. I don't want to see it happening again. but I think trading down somewhere between the 20s, low 20s, high 20s.
I'll go 24 to 32.
I'll take 22 to 28. I'll be happy with those.
Okay, close enough.
Close enough.
Yeah,
it's somewhere in the
we're
20s.
nitpicking at that point. But I hear people saying, you can't trade back in the first round because that's how you end up with Danny Watkins and guys like that.
Right.
This is a lot deeper draft than that. You
It
trade
is.
back to the mid-20s, and Tez Tabor could still be there.
Tez Tabor or
Quincy Wilson,
Marlon Humphrey, just a bunch of, especially
Christian
McCaffrey,
well.
who is somewhat straddling along
John
the late
Ross,
first round.
who I know you really like.
I really like John Ross, but looking at the free agency and what the Eagles did in terms of signing Alshon Jeffrey and Torrey Smith, I thought, okay, maybe the Eagles won't go the route of a wide receiver with that 14th overall pick, but there is still a chance that a wide receiver might be taken at 14. It could be a running back. It could be a corner. I think at this point it could be a best player available situation depending on who's there, what's there, and how it's going to be there. So it's going to be a very interesting draft for the Eagles this year.
I'm sorry. I was just. Let's get some humor. Let's bring some humor in this to start off the show. I'm currently in a Twitter debate with somebody.
Oh boy!
The New York Giants just said they would just announced they're signing Geno Smith to a deal. So one of the Eagles fans I follow on Twitter made a tweet. Please, Eli, go down, please. Because obviously if Eli goes down, Geno's the quarterback. Yay, Odell Beckham's not going to be catching a lot of anything if Geno's the quarterback.
Or Brandon Marshall.
This Giants fan tweets, I'd still take Geno over overthrow Wentz, laughing my ass off. Yes, Giants fans are fucking idiots.
They are idiots. They're idiots. I think if you gather all the idiots in the world, I mean, you could put Cowboys fans, Giants fans. Let's see, what other idiots?
Buffalo Bills fans are idiots. I talked to a couple of them at Dover Speedway.
Okay.
Last fall.
Certain Bills fans.
Chuckleheads.
Oh, they're chuckleheads. Have you seen them at the tailgates?
Yeah, well, that's what I say. We expected like that. We expect they don't make good decisions. You see them at the tailgates. No wonder they're stupid.
Yeah.
They're fun to party with. They probably don't make the best decisions.
Absolutely, they're fun to party, but geez.
I see. That's why I said it was call-out day, right?
It is.
And we're
call-out
calling out
day.
a lot, so I'm going to call out this guy at One Real Robbie Rob. Okay, I'm disappointed he's not listening. In all honesty, I really wish he was listening.
Why would he listen to an Eagles-based station?
I don't know.
He's probably going to listen to like the morons that they have on WFAN.
Anyway, listen to how much dumber this conversation goes.
Right.
This Twitter debate goes. The more it goes on. I responded to his "I'll take Geno over overthrow Wentz, laugh my ass off" tweet. I responded to "You should have your Twitter account suspended for that nonsense."
Yeah. What he say? Let me guess. Does it involve rings?
He said, "But who has two rings?" Which I responded. I said, "Not Geno."
What a fucking mook.
First of all, you brought up Geno.
Brought up Geno.
Geno doesn't have two rings.
Geno doesn't have two rings. What he have?
Eli has two rings.
Eli has two rings.
Geno.
Right.
I said, "Not Geno." So I responded. I said, "Not Geno." I said, "Not Geno." Laugh out loud. Geno sucks. Wentz is the real deal. He said, "I'm talking about Eli there, buddy." I said, I said, laughing my ass off. You said Geno was better than Wentz, and he said, and this is how he's now. This is his last tweet. No, I said I'd still take Geno over Wentz. I don't like Wentz. He's overrated as fuck. Well, then you so must be blind.
He is
because
he's probably blinder than Helen Keller.
Because he's got to be blinder than Helen Keller.
Blinder than Helen Keller.
Because when you look at the eye test and you use the eye test
right.
to evaluate this kid, he passes the eye test. He's the real deal.
Right.
I'm speaking of Carson Wentz. And I don't know what the hell. Is he trying to tell me that he didn't say Geno was better than Wentz? He said that he'd still take him over Wentz? That's the same fucking thing.
It's
okay?
the same
So I'm
damn
calling
thing.
you out, Robbie Rob, with your punk-ass fucking Twitter name to begin with, out One Real Robbie Rob. Like
that sounds like
there's another Robbie Rob.
He sounds like a rejected boy band
He
guy.
does sound like a rejected boy band member.
How queer is that?
He sounds like a rejected Jersey Shore member.
Yeah. You got Robbie Rob, and then you got he sounds like Marky Mark's bitch right there. Robbie Rob. Oh, I'm Robbie Rob. Ooh.
For Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he said, no, I said I'd still take Geno over Wentz. That's the same thing as saying Geno's better than Wentz. You dumb, giant, ignorant piece of shit, okay? So this is currently what I'm dealing with. It's call-out day.
It's call-out day.
It's call-out day.
On St. Patrick's Day.
Out. Exactly. Why not?
Right.
Why not? Why not? Good as day as any, right?
Yeah. Any day's call-out day.
Well, listen, on A2DRadio.com, it's the worldwide leader of real talk, and if you deserve to be called out, you're going to get called out.
You're going to get called out.
And my current beef, the people I'm calling out, okay, I saw a poll earlier that said, knowing what you know about the Joe Mixon situation, where would you be comfortable drafting Joe Mixon? And I said it's call-out day. I'm calling out a bunch of people. Sean Watson got called out for not being here. That's a problem, okay? I don't know what his excuse is going to be.
I don't know.
When I talked to him, I didn't realize we had a show today. It's Friday.
Well,
the rundown happens every Friday.
Well, I know your other host, Ralph Delavecchio. I mean, he's got a reason not to be here.
Yeah, he blew his knee apart. Although,
he did. Playing hockey
that's his own fault. Yeah, because
right.
he's trying to be an athlete and he's not an athlete. So it's what happens when you're not an athlete.
Oh, jeez.
But so my current beef is with these people. And now let me get it for the record straight. Okay, I would draft both Joe Mixon and Dalvin Cook because I believe in second chances.
As with a bunch of people.
That's the way the NFL works.
Right.
But there's too many people out there that are saying they wouldn't draft Joe Mixon because they're not comfortable with a guy with that background being on this football team or drafting a guy with that background. I can't tell you how much I've seen it over social media over the past week.
It's an issue.
Some of these same people are the people that are on the Cook train, the Dalvin Cook train, pushing for the Eagles to draft Dalvin Cook at 14. Now, I honestly wouldn't be upset with drafting Dalvin Cook at 14 if you decide to stay there. I don't know if there's a better option at that point. Personally, I'd rather trade back to the mid-20s somewhere, get an extra second-round pick, maybe an extra third-round pick, and go from there. And I feel like you got a lot of options as far as the cornerbacks go.
Especially knowing how deep the classes are in wide receiver, in corners, and in running
backs. And you got guys coming up up the board late, like Darian Conley out of Ohio State that played up on the other side of Marshawn Lattimore.
Darian Conley.
He's coming up the board late.
Adoree Jackson.
Adoree Jackson out of USC.
Desmond King. He's staying around the second round.
In the second round.
Right.
I really like two guys. Awuzie out of Colorado I would love in the second round. Big physical tackling corner. And I would love, King in the second round, too, if you could get an extra second-round pick. At 14, I'm not opposed to a guy like a Reuben Foster even, or Derek Barnett out of Tennessee because, you get constant pressure on the quarterback. That helps your secondary anyway. If you're getting constant pressure on the quarterback and you have a great pass rush, that makes your secondary look a lot better. It really does. Especially in a Jim Schwartz defense. You've seen it in his history. High-pressure defenses that get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. That's when his defenses are at the most effective. So I wouldn't be opposed to Barnett. But if we took Cook at 14, I wouldn't be mad because I understand the best player available argument.
Right.
Personally, I look at the two side by side, Cook and Mixon, and there's a lot more red flags for me with Dalvin Cook. Okay?
Absolutely. I know we discussed about this last night as we were prepping the show and on the car ride down here. 13
fumbles in 3 years at Florida State. First of all, fumble problem's never good. That always translates. That's one of those red flag things that translates. Some things that happen at they don't translate to the next level. A fumble issue is one of those things.
A fumble is a
issue is one of those things that translates. Right. Okay, he had 3 shoulder surgeries.
Another issue.
Injuries aren't as big of a deal in today's
NFL. Having three of them,
3 labrum surgeries.
Were they in the same labrum? Or?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, that also raises an issue because if a player gets that other labrum, it's another surgery, and then that's more time that could be missed
off the field. Okay? People want to talk about Mixon and punching a woman in the face. Yes, and it's a huge mistake, and he's a kid that made a dumb mistake, and a lot of young kids make stupid mistakes. No excuses for it. You make the mistake, it's on your record forever. It's a blemish that's never going to go away. But let's be honest, this is the NFL. Guys get second chances.
They do.
It's just the way it works. Guys have gotten, grown men, 30-year-old grown men have gotten second chances in this league for making, the same mistake, and we're talking about him doing it as a 19-year-old kid.
Yes.
Okay? He's going to get drafted by somebody. He's too good of a prospect not to. 6'1", 228 pounds, runs a 4.43 40. Absolute freak. And if he didn't have that blemish on his record, we'd be having this conversation. Who's the best running back prospect in the draft? Fournette, Dalvin Cook, or Joe Mixon?
Right.
So Mixon, he has that blemish on his record. Outside of that, there's nothing else on the record. When you look at Dalvin Cook, he also punched a girl in the face.
He did.
Okay? There's even a story about it from a year and a half ago in the summer of 2015 when he was suspended until it got, all settled. Yes, I know he got found not guilty in court, and that's only because there was no video evidence. And we know the way this video evidence thing works. If it's caught on video, you're fucked. You got no other, you got no way out.
Basically.
But these high-profile players, especially at Florida State, there seems to be a pattern here with Florida State.
You had Jameis Winston stealing crabs and
Stole crabs.
stealing crabs.
Nothing happened there. He was accused of rape. Apparently, nothing happened there. I don't believe that because we just heard the recent speech that he gave at an elementary school. Saying that my young men
girls should be silent.
Yeah, my young men are supposed to be strong and confident. I want you to stand up and say I can be anything I want to be. Girls, you're taught to be silent and quiet. Are they? Is that what you were taught growing up, Jameis? Like really?
Right.
That's not really like a proper message to be giving to little kids at an elementary school. So I think there's a connection there with Florida State. Clearly, okay, so there's no video evidence. I'm not shocked that in a he said, she said matter that he didn't get convicted of anything. She did. He was charged because she did file charges.
She did file charges.
And according to the transcript of what the woman that accused Cook of these things, what her transcript in court when she was under oath in court in front of a jury, she claimed that there was a verbal argument between her and a group of Florida State players. Things transpired, this and that. Apparently another Florida State player, Travis Rudolph, approached her.
Right.
She pushed him away. She made it clear she wasn't impressed by the fact that they were Florida State football players and that she was dating
an Auburn player.
An Auburn defensive back, TJ Davis or something like that. According to her transcript and what she swore to under oath, Dalvin Cook then responded, "Bitch, we can buy you in a couple years. Google me."
Well, everybody's on Google.
She did. Well, that's apparently what she said. Everybody's on Google. Then he punched her in the face.
I mean, I looked myself up on Google. You probably looked yourself up on Google.
Listen. You can find anything on Google.
Right.
Okay. Like really, I looked myself up on Google. You know what's going to come up? Probably some A2D radio basketball games from YouTube or something. Probably something like I don't know what else would come up. Maybe my high school baseball stats.
Probably.
Something along those lines.
See, all my stuff will probably be like. It's probably all my articles that I do for HD Radio.
Right? So it became a he said, she said thing. I'm not surprised that in a he said, she said matter that he gets found not guilty in a court as a high-profile Florida State football player. That doesn't shock me. I don't want to hear that just because there's video of the Mixon incident, that means that Mixon's 100% guilty, and because we don't have evidence or we don't have video evidence of the Cook thing, that we just treat it like it didn't happen.
Right.
In my mind, he punched a girl in the face just like Joe Mixon did. So if you're one of these people saying you're not going to draft Joe Mixon because of that background, but you would draft Dalvin Cook at 14, you're a hypocrite. It's call-out time.
It is.
That's ridiculous. Look yourself in the mirror and just admit it. You're a hypocrite. That's bullshit. You didn't do enough research and didn't have all the evidence.
Right.
Because all the evidence would tell you when you look at the red flags, I'm not done with the Dalvin Cook thing yet.
You're not done.
Because what's next?
Something about
puppies?
Puppies.
That's disturbing, is it not?
We're talking about puppies here.
This guy got cited. You could Google that. Google this.
I just Googled it right up. You can look up Dalvin Cook puppies.
You could see. You could see the citation from the police in Florida.
Right.
He got cited for allegedly choking 3 pit bull puppies. Now, the only reason you're choking puppies is one, either you're a really sick motherfucker, like you're just a sick human being, or 2. You've got some type of ulterior motive, like dog fighting, or you're training it for an aggressive purpose.
Right.
Either way, you're choking puppies, and that's even more disturbing to me
than punching a woman.
Well,
they're both equally disturbing.
They're both equally bad.
They're both equally bad.
But you just have an anger issue if you're punching a woman.
Right.
If you're punching anybody, but if you're punching a woman over something like that, that's just an anger issue, and you don't know how to make good judgment.
Right.
If you're choking puppies, that there's something else like sick going on in your head.
Absolutely.
Who chokes puppies? Who in their right mind chokes puppies? and just view, oh, well, whatever. No, not whatever. There's no excuse you can give me of, well, I was training him for this or that. No, none of that. That's BS.
It is.
Choking puppies. A sick freak is who does that.
Yep.
Okay, and then as a senior in high school, he was an alleged accomplice in an armed robbery.
Typical Florida State
Now,
recruits.
we all know what Chris Carter's told these young prospects. Got to have a fall guy, right, Frank?
Right.
Got to have a fall guy.
Yep.
If you're a legit prospect at that level, that good of a player, got to have a fall guy, somebody that's going to take the blame when you get caught up in something like this. I'm not going to believe for once. There's just too much evidence, too much baggage, too many dots to connect.
Yeah.
Okay. He was an alleged accomplice. Bullshit. He was hanging out with a group of friends or the wrong crowd or whatever. They got caught up in something stupid like this, making a bad decision, and he didn't ever get charged or convicted of anything because fall guys, because the friends are going to take the blame for it because he's more high profile than they are. Okay? You can say that's BS all you want. We all know that's how this works. Chris Carter sat there and preached it to these kids, these high school prospects that were going to college, and these college prospects, coming out into the NFL. He preached it to them on camera.
Yep.
So we know it's true.
It's true.
There's more red flags for me with Dalvin Cook than there is Joe Mixon. Now, that being said, it doesn't keep me from drafting the kid.
Yeah.
Just like, I'll draft Joe Mixon just like I'll draft Dalvin Cook. I'm just saying.
It's one of those cases if you draft one or the other, they're going to be on a very they're going to be on a very thick microscope.
They should be. They should be. But I'm just saying, I'm calling you out if you're one of these people that doesn't want to draft Joe Mixon, but because of all the stuff that comes with the background and the baggage, but you're on board with drafting Dalvin Cook. You can't be okay with drafting either one of them, or you got to be okay with drafting both of them. It's got to be one or the other. You can't sit here and play.
You can draft one, the other, both of them, or none of them. That's basically what it comes down to.
You either got to be okay with drafting them or not okay with drafting them. You can't be okay with drafting one of them and not the other.
Right.
That's just hypocrisy.
It is. And yet we're living in a world full of them.
Well, that's true, but that's why it's call-out time.
It is call-out time.
That's why it was call-out time. We're going to discuss more of the possible situations involving the 14th pick, including talking more about the Eagles possibly trading back and the players that could be there if they were to trade back a little bit later on in the show. And also talk about the possible players that you could draft besides Dalvin Cook if you stayed at 14. Because Dalvin Cook now at this point with the Sidney Jones injury, I think has become probably the sexy pick.
It's becoming a close,
the sexy pick,
a very realistic target for the Eagles to get at 14.
It just seems like the sexy pick that all the fans are falling in love with that pick.
Right.
Dalvin Cook at 14 now seems like, oh my God, it's a perfect pick. I love it. And I'm just wanting, might be more. There might be players you could take there that are going to have more of an impact.
Right.
Compared to this last year with the Cowboys, they took Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah, that was the sexy pick. But when you look at it, they passed on Jalen Ramsey, and now they have nobody in their secondary. Jalen Ramsey maybe would have been more of an impact player for that Cowboys team long term, when you think about it, than Ezekiel Elliott was.
Exactly.
Joey Bosa maybe would have been the same deal, but he went a pick before that.
And Jalen Ramsey too.
Well, that's what I said. That's the name I just gave, Jalen Ramsey.
I'm just like looking at the time right now,
that's the
checking everything out.
Ezekiel Elliott was the sexy pick for the Cowboys, but Jalen Ramsey went the very next pick. He probably makes more of an impact long term for the Cowboys than Elliott does. He's going to shore up that secondary, a legit shutdown corner, a legit shutdown defensive back. Could add a lot. Those guys aren't a dime a dozen. They're not easy to come by. Has a lot bigger impact on your team, I think, than a running back does. But they went with the sexy pick.
They did.
Ultimately, what did it win them? 13 games against a weak schedule. And I know I'm going to have the cockroach Cowboys fans. We got to play who's on your schedule. You do got to play who's on your schedule. But the bottom line is you beat what? 2 winning teams? They beat, I think, look this up if you could. I think 2 teams with a winning record.
2 teams with a winning record, I believe so.
Something like that. They didn't beat a lot of teams with a winning record.
They had the easy schedule, and then...
Here, I'll look this up right now.
All right. While you're looking that up, I'm going to do a little update with the NCAA tournament that's going on right now. 2 games going off right now. The first of the two matchups, Oklahoma State and Michigan. The score is 41-40 in favor of the Wolverines. They are at halftime right now. And looking at the Baylor, New Mexico State. After New Mexico State had an 8-point lead early in the game, Baylor rallied back, currently leading 27-26. That score will be updated later in just a couple moments. Seton Hall and Arkansas will be tipping off in the round of 64. Anything popping up yet with the Cowboys schedule?
Yeah, but I'm a little bit.
It's
Why is okay? That one doesn't make any sense. Okay.
well, nothing makes sense.
Give me one more minute. I don't like what Google's giving me, so I'm going to a different option. I'm going to NFL.com. Going to the source.
You're going to the big source
Yes.
of the league itself.
Yes. So let's see. They beat the Redskins. They beat the Packers in the regular season, and they beat the Steelers.
And all of them have winning records.
And
at
they
that
beat
point.
and they beat the Lions.
Okay, also with a winning record.
So they beat the Lions, the Redskins, the Steelers.
And they also beat the Eagles with a winning record too.
The Eagles don't have a winning. Didn't have a
Well,
winning record.
at the time when
No,
they
I'm talking about teams that finished with a winning
oh
record.
with the okay
Teams that
okay.
overall in 2016,
All right.
teams that had a winning record or didn't. Frank, it's not that complicated.
I know.
Stick with the damn program.
All right,
Doesn't matter what your record was when you were played.
right.
Redskins had a winning record. Cowboys beat them.
Yep.
Packers had a winning record. The Cowboys beat them.
Steelers had a
Steelers had a winning record. The Cowboys beat
they
them.
did
And the Lions had a winning record. The Cowboys beat them. So 4 teams.
4 teams.
Beat 4 teams with a winning record. Lost to the Giants twice.
Yep.
Lost to the Eagles once, although,
Should have been twice.
that was with
but
scrubs. But yeah, you pretty much got lucky in the Eagles game.
the first
The
one.
first one.
Yeah.
I mean, Doug Peterson absolutely
bad play.
choked away.
Bad
the fourth,
play
you know.
calling in the second half.
The
I mean,
fourth quarter was just not well coached.
the fourth quarter was not coached, and especially in the closing moments where you had the opportunity to win. And
The game should have never gotten to overtime.
it
and
should have
did.
never gotten to overtime. Like they had the chance to run 2 plays in overtime. They could have gone to overtime, even if the 2 plays they could have ran didn't go well, because I think it was like 20 seconds left or something. It was like 4th down, and the Eagles had 2 timeouts. Doug could have called 1 timeout.
They
Let them punt.
Remember they got lucky in the
right
in the Vikings game too.
the Vikings game,
So they won by 2 points.
and the end of
17 to
the end of
15.
the end of the Steelers game too.
They did, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, so it's ultimately what did Elliott win them? 13 games, and they didn't even win a playoff game.
Right.
So
Thanks, Mason Crosby.
my concern, besides just the red flag things that we talked about with Cook, is championship teams don't draft a running back that high.
Right.
They don't.
They don't.
Because the impact's not there. Todd Gurley can have had a good year with the Rams. They stink. They didn't get any better. People say, oh, well, that's because they don't have a quarterback. Well, okay, I'll use this argument then. Melvin Gordon had a great year with the Chargers. They didn't get any better. Phillip Rivers is a borderline Hall of Famer, probably a Hall of Famer. Stats-wise, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Been a consistent top 10 quarterback in football for years and years and years.
And
They didn't get any better.
They don't get any better.
And Melvin Gordon had a good year. So, I mean, the impact as far as win-losses go, David Johnson was arguably the best running back in football a year ago. The Cardinals took a step backwards.
They did. A huge step backwards.
That's the best running game they had in 4 years under,
Bruce Arians.
under Bruce Arians or whatever, 5 years under Arians or whatever. That's the best running game that they have. He's arguably is the best running back in football. They don't even make the playoffs. So this argument of running backs and the impact that they have on your team, I don't know if it's a good enough impact for me to want to draft a guy at 14. If everything else is in place, like the Cowboys had the Hall of Fame offensive line, the Cowboys have a Hall of Fame offensive line, or at least the best offensive line in football at the moment.
Right.
Dak Prescott really became the saving grace for them. They
did.
He was the gem that they found in the fourth round.
It was a steal, and I said it on my show.
He was really more the reason why they were 13 and 3. The impact that he had, only 4 interceptions and all that.
Right.
Elliott had a good year, but there's a lot more that went into that.
There
you
were
can't
a lot
just
of
draft a running back and expect him to be such a game changer that, it's like it used to be with LT with the Chargers in
Right.
the early 2000s, which, by the way, they had Drew Brees as their quarterback too. Or, I don't go back to the 90s when you look at Terrell Davis carrying the Broncos to a Super Bowl. That's not the way this league is. You have to have an historically good defense. The Broncos got away with it with Manning because of the historically good defense that they had. The Seahawks, beast mode being their method, their formula to success. Yeah, great. Give me the Seahawks defense. I'll agree with you. Let's draft a running back then.
Right.
But until we have the Seahawks defense,
absolutely,
that guy's not a game changer. That guy can be a game changer, but the impact he has on your win-loss record, I don't feel like is good enough for me to want to draft a guy that high. So we're going to evaluate other options, the other possible picks with the 14th pick when we come back on the Rundown, A2DRadio.com. Should the Eagles consider trading back in the first round? I say they should. Frank, I know you said you're not opposed to it.
I'm not opposed to it, but I just don't. Once it gets closer, then we'll see where it goes.
Okay, this is brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza, Cherry Hill. Give them a call, 856-889-3434. Visit the website, www.scanzanosports.com. That's Scanzano Sports Center on the campus of King's Christian High School, scanzanosports.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
The Rundown, only on A2DRadio.com.
This is the Rundown, A2DRadio.com.
And
Well, I'm multitasking here as I host the show, and I'm obviously commenting with people that are
Right.
following, watching us live now on YouTube at the moment.
yes,
Somebody said, they might trade back in the first round depending on what the pick would be for, what we would get in return. So we might get into that in a couple minutes. Possible trade. I guess play fantasy trade. What type of trades
get
would
the
you
trade machine
accept
going.
for the
All right.
14th pick? I responded back to him. I said, what if you would, for the 14th pick, you get back a first-round pick, say the 24th pick, plus 2 third-round picks. Would you give up the 14th pick to trade back to 25th, plus 2 more third-round picks? Because I would. I would take those 3 because now you have 3 third-round picks. And I feel like there's a lot of players that you could get with value there in that third round.
Absolutely.
We're talking Eagles early mock draft. What would you do with the 14th overall pick? Would you trade back in the first round like I would? Do you want to stay pat? Would you draft Dalvin Cook? I'm okay with that idea. You just better not be a hypocrite and not okay with drafting Joe Mixon. I wouldn't take Mixon with the 14th pick, but I would take Mixon at some point. There's too many people that wouldn't draft Mixon at all because of all the baggage, all those issues. I would draft him. Somebody's going to draft him mid-rounds, late rounds, something, and get an absolute steal of a prospect. 6'1", close to 230 pounds. He runs a 4.43. That's freaky.
It is.
And if he didn't have this blemish with everything, with the incident with punching the woman and breaking her jaw and all that.
And don't forget choking puppies.
Well, that's Dalvin Cook, not Joe
Oh,
Mixon.
I thought you were talking about Dalvin Cook.
I'm talking about Joe Mixon.
Oh.
6'1", close to 230 pounds, and a 4.43 40.
Right.
If Mixon didn't have, my little
you trying
microphone
to
fuzzy thing came off. If Mixon didn't have
The pop screen.
the baggage, with
Right.
punching the woman in the face and that all being on video, if he had a clean slate, he's going to be up there with Fournette and Cook for top running back in this draft. There'd be an argument which of the three is the top running back.
Now I'm looking.
I just find it nonsense that Cook, because his wasn't caught on camera,
Right.
apparently is just going to be shoved under the rug now, like it shouldn't be talked about.
Now we got a few people commenting right now on our Facebook, which you can look at over at a2dradio.com. We have Ralph Delavecchio. Name sounds familiar. He must be a part of this station or something.
Yeah, he must be.
He must be. Please get better, Ralph. And he says, hell no.
Hell no, what? You wouldn't trade back?
He would not trade
So
back.
who's he taking? See, he's one of these Dalvin Cook nuts. Now, Ralph, I'm okay with you taking Dalvin Cook at 14, but you're going to tell me that Joe Mixon's off limits because of all the baggage, aren't you? I know you.
And
You
then-
weren't raised correctly. That's why you're a Michigan State fan and a Lakers fan. So you're going to tell me that Joe Mixon's off limits, aren't
Isn't he
you?
also a Yankees fan as well?
No, he's a Phillies fan. It's
Oh.
the other knucklehead that's a
Oh.
Yankees fan. The one that didn't show up today.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be fun.
Sean Watson. He's the one that's not a Yankees fan.
Oh, that's right.
Or he's the one that's a Yankees fan,
He's the
not
one
a
that-
Phillies fan.
For some reason, I thought Ralph was the Yankees fan.
See,
One of
no.
them.
Yeah,
One of
Ralph's
the-
a Phillies fan.
Okay.
I'll take Derek Barnett at 14 if he's there. I'll take an elite pass rusher before I'd probably take Dalvin Cook. I'll take Reuben Foster if he falls to me at 14 before I take Dalvin Cook. I like a high-volume tackler at the linebacker position. I feel like that,
And especially that the linebacker is a position of need right now. It's not really high on the needs right now for the Eagles, but I know they are going to try to address that issue as soon as possible. I know they want somebody to help out Jordan Hicks.
I think he'd be perfect in this system. 6'1",
Right.
245 pounds, 240-plus pounds. That's a 4-3 linebacker right there.
But like especially with the other linebacker that we got Joe Walker, the 7th round. He had a really strong preseason. He had the ACL injury. We'll see how he does during training camp. If it works out for him that he can be a starter and help out Jordan Hicks, that will be great for the Eagles. but I think that there could be one or two linebackers that the Eagles can take with those mid-round picks. So
he was a little light at the
hopefully.
combine. He weighed in
Right.
at 230 pounds at the combine, down from 240. But a lot of guys lose weight for the combine.
Right.
They try to run a little bit faster over 40 time. They try to be better in the agility skills. I would expect him to play probably closer to 240 pounds. I think there's other options at 14 for me besides Dalvin Cook.
And
How about this for comparison? He's compared to Bobby Wagner, who's turned into a pretty damn good NFL player.
Right.
So, I would probably take him, and I'd take Barnett. I really do like Barnett. I think Barnett is an elite pass rusher, and if we can get pressure on the quarterback with him and Graham and Fletcher Cox, that makes your secondary that much better because pass rushing, getting to the quarterback, rushing the quarterback, getting pressure on the quarterback, it takes a lot of pressure off of your corners. So, not having an elite shutdown corner, you can kind of get away with that a little bit if you're getting elite pressure, getting a ton of pressure on the quarterback the way the Eagles could.
And then we have another person commenting. Vinny Massington says, depends on how far and the return if the deal is right. Sure. He also says, plenty of needs to fill on this team, and it wouldn't be like you're missing out on your franchise quarterback by trading back.
Well, this would be my question to you, Vinny, then. So if we're saying you trade back out of 14, say you trade back to the mid-20s of the first round, and you get the 25th pick, and you also get a third-round pick and a fourth-round pick, or you get 2 third-round picks to go along with that 25th pick. Are you going to trade the 14th pick for the 25th pick plus 2 more third-round picks? So that would realistically now give you the 25th pick in the draft, a second-round pick, and 3 third-round picks. Because I'll do it if that's the case. Because I look at guys I could get there in the third round. The guys that could be available. Right. D Prodigy says he really likes Marlon Humphrey. I like Marlon Humphrey,
I like
too.
Humphrey as well.
And he said he wouldn't mind a linebacker at some point. Yeah, I agree. And, I think Humphrey maybe is a little bit of a stretch at 14, but you never know. Guys really start flying up, the radar late a lot of times. I'm not opposed to trading back to 25 or so because I feel you can get a guy like a Garyon Conley or, an Adoree Jackson out of USC, guys like that who, are now, flying up the board late as first-round prospects. And if I can now gather assets, as Sam Hinkie, right? Lord Hinkie likes to say, got to gather those assets.
Yep.
Right? You gather assets like a couple other third-round picks or an extra second-round pick even.
Yeah, that's what a lot of signs are pointing to right now. I know I think I might have brought it up earlier, but the Eagles aren't done yet during free agency, and I think it's going to be 1 or 2 moves where you're going to trade at least somebody that's going to have that hefty contract and get picks out of it. Possibly a second round, maybe a third, maybe a fourth round picks. Those picks are kind of coveted in a sense.
Right. Well, you see it every year when you trade back something like this. That's usually what you're going to get. You're going to get the trade back 10 spots, the fall from 14th to 25th. You're going to end up getting not only the 25th pick in the draft, but you'll probably get, at least another third-round pick, maybe even another fourth-round pick. How about, if you were to trade, if you're the Eagles and you're to trade, the 14th pick plus your third-round pick to get a team, say get the 25th pick, their second-round pick, and their third-round pick. So now you gather, an extra second-round pick. So now you're going to have the 25th pick plus 2 second-round picks and 2 third-round picks. I like that idea, too. I like a Wouzier in the second round. I know you like Desmond King in the second round.
I like Desmond King.
I'm not opposed to Desmond King in the second round. There's a lot of guys I think that come into the picture that are really valuable for you here.
Right.
And if you do one of the options where you say you get 3 third-round picks, that allows you to possibly draft Sidney Jones with one of those third-round picks, who's now going to become an absolute steal in the mid-rounds. Once he's recovered from that injury.
And if the recovery goes well as planned, remember that.
And in today's NFL, guys bounce back from these types of injuries all the time. I mean, who's the guy, Thomas Davis, the linebacker, the 34-year-old, 35-year-old linebacker with the Panthers that's bounced back from 3 different Achilles injuries or whatever it is? You know? Like in today's NFL, it's those types of things are you're able to overcome them. 20 years ago, that's a death sentence. You can overcome those injuries now. Especially with a guy taking a chance with a guy in the third round. Hell, the Cowboys drafted Jalen Smith last year in the second round.
Right.
He hadn't even seen the field yet. So if you're taking Jalen Smith in the second round, you could take Sidney Jones in the third. Think about that. Think about if you traded back, say, to the 25th pick, and with the 25th pick, you got a guy like an Alvin Kamara, a running back.
Now, that was another name people were bringing up.
Who
the
might
Eagles
be there
could
at that point, right?
Right.
A Kamara. And then, in the second round, you get Awuzie, or you get Awuzie out of
Awuzie,
Colorado. Okay, and then in the third round, you get Sidney Jones, and you get, a couple other corners that, are going to be there that people think could end up starting for you. So you got 3 corners, you got a running back out of it, or you got 4 corners, including the second round pick, plus a running back out of it, all because you traded that 14th pick. It allowed you to get not only Kamara, a starting running back, but then 4 other cornerbacks. And say out of those 4 cornerbacks, 2 of them become starters. That's a good haul right there.
It is a good haul.
That's a great haul.
Big haul.
That makes it all worth it in my book. If I look at it like that. With the 25th pick, maybe you get a Christian McCaffrey. A lot of people like the idea of a guy like that. Or maybe you don't draft a running back at all, and you take one of those first-round cornerbacks, a Tez Tabor, an Adoree Jackson.
Right.
And
I know, like,
a Quincy Wilson.
Another one. Or maybe another wide receiver.
Gary and Conley, who I really like. I'm really starting to like Gary and Conley. Well, I know you like John Ross there.
John Ross, yeah.
A guy like that. And what that allows you to do is then in the second round, you could still take a Awuzie. Third round, you could still take Sidney Jones, and you could also take another guy I'm really high on. I love this guy, Kareem Hunt, who could be there out of Toledo in the third round.
Right.
5'11", 210. His measurables, it's all really, really similar to Dalvin Cook. You know what I like about Kareem Hunt, though? In 850-plus college carries, he had 850-plus carries at the college level as a running back. Did not fumble a single time.
It really surprises me that
0 fumbles.
I mean, I'm looking at the Crashing Broadcast System Sports website. That Kareem Hunt is the 7th ranked running back in this draft.
Toledo.
Right, he went to, but he's ranked higher than Samaje Perine, another running back that I thought was going to go high in this draft, and Deonta Foreman of Texas.
Who everybody think, get him in the late rounds.
Right.
I'll take Mixon in the third round. You want to talk about, what that opens up the possibility for if you trade back to 25 and say take a, one of those cornerbacks like we talked about, the Adoree Jackson,
right,
the Gary and Conley, or the John Ross like you talked about, or something along those lines. Now you could take Awuzie in the second round, Sidney Jones in the third round. You could take Joe Mixon now in the third round.
Right. Joe Mixon. There's other names that pop up. Of course, Christian McCaffrey might somehow.
I don't know if he'll be there in the third
round. Well, depending on what teams are going to do with their draft strategies.
But you could tell, realistically, you could take McCaffrey in the first round with that 25th pick or something, and also still take Mixon between the tackles runner and the third round because McCaffrey's going to be a Darren Sproles hybrid for you. Going to return kicks, going to catch a lot of passes, going to run the ball sometimes, going to do a little bit of everything. See, I really like the idea of trading back because look how creative you can get now.
Right.
If you trade back to the mid 20s in the first round, all of a sudden you can get really, really creative.
And here's another one that people are bringing up, but nobody's like saying, "Oh, where is he going to go?" Marlon Mack of South Florida is another one. He had a really great season last year for the South Florida Bulls. In their run to the into the top 25 at the end of the season, he's a good power back. He's a good directional running back. Runs away from tackles. So and he is and looking at his stats, 6 of those 15 touchdowns this year went for 40 plus yards. So he could be a good.
Why not draft Mixon in the third round and then Foreman in the 6th round or something? The Texas running back that everybody likes. Now you can get 2. Now you got both of them. Say they both turn into starting quality running backs. Now you just got a 2-headed monster. 3 if you count Wendell Smallwood.
Yeah, bring back the.
You see what I'm working at?
Yeah,
here?
yeah. I would love to. I would love to see the 3-headed monster.
You all of a sudden you could get really creative, and it opens up the doors for a lot of possibilities. You could fill a lot of holes just by trading that 14th
absolutely.
What's the deep draft? What if the Patriots been the kings of for years and years and years now? They always trade back.
They always trade back.
They
and
always
they
find
make
a
the
way
right.
to trade back,
Right.
and then gather extra assets in the mid rounds, and then they always seem to hit in the mid
They
rounds.
they do to hit in
They
the
always
mid round.
hit.
And especially if you look at the mid rounds, especially you brought up the running back class, the wide receiver class also can get deep in those later rounds.
How about a guy like Matt Collins? Anybody know? Do you know who that is?
Matt Collins.
Matt Collins, big white kid out of North Carolina, was injured this year. 6'4",
Okay.
210 pounds. Kind of came on people's radar at the Senior
At
Bowl.
the Senior Bowl, yeah.
Ran a 4.33 40-yard dash at 6'4" and 210 pounds. 2 years ago, when he last played a full season, he led college football with 24.5 yards per catch.
I
He
like
was
that.
Trubisky's go-to receiver for like the first 4 games of this season before he got injured and missed the
Right.
rest of the year.
I'm looking at the. I know you brought up Collins. Some of the other names: Juju Smith-Schuster,
There you go.
a possible.
D.D. Westbrook will be there.
D.D. Westbrook.
mid-rounds.
Connor Kupp is another one people are bringing up, and one of
Then
my
Ralph
own.
Delavecchio's listening. He's going to have a heart attack. He loves Connor Kupp.
He does love Connor Kupp.
Cooper Kupp, not Connor Kupp.
I don't know why I said Connor
Cooper
Kupp.
Kupp. Isn't it Cooper Kupp?
It's Cooper Kupp of Eastern Washington. My bad. But another one people are bringing up, Carlos Henderson out of Louisiana Tech. Another one, Taywan Taylor from my alma mater, Western Kentucky. Another name people are bringing up as well as a good wide receiver prospect, but nowhere near the Eagles as of right now. But I really hope they make a move like that. Let's see. I'm taking a look at some of the other names. And the further down I go, it gets a lot obscure. Yeah. Greg Ward Jr. is another one, probably going to be a late round
The
pick.
quarterback from Houston?
He's a quarterback and a wide receiver as
He's gonna
well.
play wide out.
He's
I'm not
in
having
the
anything
draft.
to
He
do
is registered as a wide
I want
receiver.
nothing to do with that.
Right. And then, of course, with cornerback, I know you brought up a bunch of names. So many names we brought up.
D Prodigy says
yeah.
he likes an edge rusher in the second. If you like an edge rusher in the second, why not just go Derek Barnett with the 14th pick then? Because I agree. An edge rusher, a dominant edge rusher, could really impact the game for us.
It can be.
Because we already saw what Brandon Graham could do for you. Imagine now if you get a guy like Barnett on the other side, plus you got Fletcher Cox
Right.
in the middle. You can't double team everybody.
And you could
Somebody's going to win their one-on-ones.
And you could find somebody to fill in that hole for the departing Benny Logan.
Or if you go with the idea of who's the guy from Alabama, Jonathan Allen.
Jonathan Allen.
You talk about the departing Benny Logan.
Yeah.
You could pair Jonathan Allen with Fletcher Cox and be really dominant in the middle.
Yeah, that's
Not a bad idea, right?
Not a bad idea either.
There's a lot of options there.
And then, of course, in linebackers, you also have Reuben Foster, and then there's Jabril Peppers, which I think he's going to be drafted a little bit later.
See, Peppers isn't a linebacker. He's a pure safety.
He's more of a
He'll
safety.
be a pure safety. At 213 pounds, he's a pure safety.
Another one, T.J. Watt, out of Wisconsin.
See, there you go. He's somebody late in the. Now he's more.
I would love
Is he a
JJ's
defensive
brother.
end?
No, he's a linebacker.
But he's more of a 3-4 pass rushing linebacker.
Let me confirm that. Let's see.
I think he's going to end up being a pass rusher.
I know he's a pass rusher.
But pass rushing linebackers aren't going to fit in this system. There's
Yeah,
more
he
3-4 linebackers.
he can play in a 4-3.
He'd be a 4-3 defensive end.
He'd be a 4-3.
Defensive end.
4-3. I believe it. I think he's going to be a 4-3 linebacker. That's what it looks like right now.
6'5", 236. No, see, that's either a 4-3 defensive end or that's a 3-4 linebacker, Frank. If you're 6'5" and 240 pounds.
Maybe a defensive end. I don't know. I
Let's see.
haven't really looked in the linebacking class that much for the draft because I'm not too worried about it, but it's something to work.
He's 6'4" and 252 pounds. He's a 4-3 defensive end or 3-4 outside linebacker. He's got to be one of the two.
It's one of them.
I think he's more of a 3-4 outside linebacker. I wouldn't be surprised if the Texans draft him.
That'd be something. Having both Watts on the same team, that'd be something. And then let's see.
The NFL comparison I see here is Paul Kruger, who was a longtime 3-4 outside
Gotcha.
linebacker. So, I'm reading his
Right.
his report here. Yeah, see, I don't know. I'd rather go Derek Barnett if that's the case. But, you could trade back to 25, and then, it opens up possibilities in the second or third round for, project guys like a defensive end out of Villanova, who everybody seems to be really high on, the freaky kid.
Tenno Sangyon.
Yeah, that freaky kid.
Yeah, the name I cannot pronounce for the sake of my...
Ansah or whatever, isn't it?
No, it's Tano.
He's being compared to Ansah or whatever, who was Ansah or whatever, the kid that was drafted a couple years back.
Oh,
Ziggy Ansah.
Ziggy Ansah, yeah.
That's who he's being compared to.
Yeah.
But, he could be like, if you get him in the second or third round, again, trading back in the first round now becomes smart because of the possibilities it opens up. All these picks, all these
right,
assets.
a lot of
gather.
picks. I know.
See,
some of the Eagles
Patriots
fans
have taught us assets in the NFL.
Right.
Lord Hickey, his theory in
Lord
the NBA,
Hickey.
it would work it works in the NFL. The more assets you gather, the better chance you have of hitting on mid-round picks. Jordan Lewis is another guy that'll be there out of Michigan in
Yeah.
the second or third round. Who's the only reason he's not going to be a higher pick is because he's small,
Right.
but he can flat out cover. I'll take him in the mid rounds. All these guys that become possibilities just by trading that 14th pick, I think, I'm trading the 14th pick as much as I might like the idea of Derek Barnett or Jonathan Allen, although Jonathan Allen's really starting to grow on me a ton.
Yeah.
But, like guys like that, as
Right.
much as I would like them at 14, I think trading back to
Nah,
the the mid-20s of the first round
Right.
is our best option if you can gather enough assets, second or third round picks and stuff like that.
Exactly, and that's what I said on the fix a couple episodes ago, where we were discussing on how we're going to build this team. And I said you got to get a bunch of picks. I know a lot of people don't want the draft picks, but you need to build around Carson, and you need to replenish that defense because Fletcher Cox is not going to stay there forever. We saw that with some of the guys that have been a part of the city. Connor Barwin, we know he was going to leave. We need somebody to fill in. Michael Kendricks, he might leave. Vinny Curry
Needs to leave.
might leave.
Michael Kendricks needs to leave.
But you have to replenish, build from the draft, and that's what it is. I'd be giddy like a schoolgirl, as Tom Arnone would like to say, and get a bunch of picks in this draft.
If some of those possibilities we talked about with not
Right.
only trading back into the first round, but then possibilities of players you could get in the second or third round with all those extra picks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really intriguing, is it not? All those holes you could fill?
I'll be definitely happy if we can get an extra third round and maybe one extra second round pick in the draft. I know
I'll take two extra third round picks.
I'd take the third rounds. I'd be happy with a
Joe
third round.
Mixon, Sidney Jones, and
whoever you really need.
D.D. Westbrook. Or,
D.D. Westbrook.
Somebody along those lines.
Right.
Or another one of those cornerbacks.
Or another corner, or maybe a linebacker, or maybe a running back if you don't take,
I'll take Mixon in the third round.
Cook. Yeah.
A lot of possibilities.
A lot of possibilities, and I really hope they don't make any crazy moves leading up to this draft.
Well, the Alshon Jeffrey signing, obviously.
Right. It really solidifies that.
This was part of my theory with why, talking about taking playmakers with the 14th pick. Carson Wentz is going to attract players and playmakers to want to come play with him here.
And you definitely saw that during free agency. You saw a lot of players wanting to work with.
Alshon's here on a prove-it deal. He
Right.
feels like this is the best place for him to prove it.
Absolutely.
'Cause he's got the best quarterback.
He's got the best quarterback, and the situation's perfect for him.
He actually had an offer from the Bears, but he didn't want to play with Mike Leonard.
And he also turned down a multi-year offer with the Vikings as well.
That's right, from the Vikings. But he didn't want to play with Sammy
and
Sleeves.
he didn't want to play with Sammy Sleeves.
Or Teddy One Leg.
Does anybody really want to play with Sammy Sleeves? Anybody?
I don't know.
I don't know anymore.
I didn't want him as a part of this Eagles team. From the moment we drafted Wentz, I was like, trade him. Trade him.
It was bound to happen. Like I thought, maybe Bradford will just walk after we drafted Wentz. And then out of nowhere, signed Chase Daniel. Oh, great. It's a messy situation.
Yeah, I want to talk about something real quick before we go to another commercial,
All
since
right.
it's call-out day here
All
on the
right.
rundown on A2DRadio.com.
Okay.
I want to talk about one Mr. Daniel Snyder, the owner of the Washington Redskins. Okay, the
Mr.
worst owner,
the most out of touch
the
owner in
worst
the National
owner
Football League.
in football. Okay, bottom line, period. Worst owner in
Hands
football.
down.
Let me start with this. Scott McLaughlin, or Scott McLaughlin, I believe his name is. That's how you pronounce it, McLaughlin.
McLaughlin.
Yeah. GM, who I'm actually pretty high on. As far as his respect as Italian evaluator, he's one of the most well-respected Italian evaluators around football. He was a part of the 49ers front office, is part of their draft team when they drafted guys like Vernon Davis and Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman,
Yep.
and guys like that who eventually went on to become centerpieces to that Super Bowl team, to the team that ended up going to the Super Bowl under Jim Harbaugh. He then ended up in Seattle after leaving there, and he ended up drafting guys, being a part of the team that drafted guys like Russell Wilson and Richard Sherman and Ken Chancellor,
building up the Legion of Boom,
and and guys, Earl Thomas, the guys that ended up being a part of that Super Bowl run, left that job mutually, ended up then running a scouting firm out of his own house with NFL teams coming to him, getting his advice on his scouting firm. Who would you recommend, where to draft this guy, where should this guy go, all that. Now, meanwhile, why did those two other jobs not work out? Because he had a drinking problem, okay? The guy had a drinking problem.
right?
Alcohol, an alcoholic or whatever you want to call it. Now, let's be honest, in the NFL, it's a businessman's game.
Yes.
Just like when you talk about Wall Street. They sit around drinking scotch left and right as they sit here talking about their next business plan, because that's what businessmen do. Okay, so let's not act like, this doesn't happen around football, like John Elway doesn't sit down with one of his, front office executives, pours a glass of scotch, lights up 2 cigars, and they're drinking scotch and smoking cigars as they have a conversation.
Right.
I'm sure that happens quite a bit.
It does. It does happen a bit.
I'm sure that happens quite a bit. That's just business. That's the way businessmen do business.
As usual.
That's the way businessmen do business. So, this guy obviously had a little bit of an issue. That's why he left the 49ers job and the Seahawks job. He ends up getting hired by the Redskins to now be their new GM. What's he do in 2.5 years as GM? Besides bringing in Jay Gruden, they've done nothing. He's done nothing but stabilize that roster.
Yep.
They've had 2 straight winning seasons. Last time you could say that about them, Joe Gibbs was the head coach. It's a long time ago.
It was oh, jeez.
Long time ago.
Wow.
Right? And I think it was actually the second time Gibbs was the head coach.
It was the second time.
When he had Brunell as his quarterback.
Brunell is his quarterback. And didn't they have what's his name? I get the name.
Stephen Davis was the running back.
Stephen Davis.
Bruce, no, not Bruce Smith. He was already retired by that point.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But,
Jeez.
But, when you look at it, this guy come into a franchise as the GM and has stabilized the Washington Redskins. They've had 2 straight winning records, and they won an NFC East in that time. Something that Daniel Snyder has never had at any point. Stability.
Right.
Since he's been owner of the Washington Redskins. Never had stability.
Never had stability.
Because he's too much of a fucking control freak.
Yeah.
He's run out everybody that's ever could have possibly given him. Marty Schottenheimer was there. He ran him out of town. How do you run Marty Schottenheimer out of town? One of the most easy to get along with people in all of football. Watch his football life.
Schottenheimer or
Marty Schottenheimer's football life.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's one of the greatest, one of the best. Makes you cry, man. It's an emotional football life. The story. It does. You see when you watch some of these football lives and how emotional they get and stuff.
Right.
And you can't help it. You're like, damn it, I don't want to cry. I'm a grown ass man. But you'll cry with some of them. Or you'll at least fight it. Be like, I'm not going to cry because I'm a grown ass man.
Jeez.
Schottenheimer's story, it's a good, it's one of those best football life stories. You got to go watch it.
Right.
Daniel Snyder runs him out of town. Runs Joe Gibbs out of town a second time. Runs Mike Shanahan out of town. So now he gets a GM in here who's actually stabilized everything.
And
now they're firing the guy for whatever reason.
Right. Because of
I don't give a
alcohol
fuck.
problem.
I don't give a fuck if this guy is fucking pissed drunk up at his owner's bar or up in his GM suite. I really don't care. As long as you stabilize my franchise and you win me division titles and win me wild cards, give me playoff appearances, win me football games, I don't care. Drink whatever the hell you want to drink. Hell, pour me a glass. Because obviously, whatever you're drinking, it's got the winning formula.
I'll have what he's drinking.
Right, I'll have what he's having.
Yep.
Pour me a glass. It's obviously got the winning formula in it. We're going to fire the guy. Now, you want to talk about hypocrisy, call-out time. Here's call-out time.
All right.
Daniel Snyder, apparently, when Jay Gruden just got a contract extension. Daniel Snyder, and you saw this posted on a2dradio.com. This came from me. I saw this. It was talked about. From a legitimate source. I'll say that. I'm not going to give away my source, but it was talked about by a respectable source. And I then told Tom. I texted Tom. I said, "Hey, this is something I'm just hearing from a really respectable source."
Okay.
It was somebody that is known for covering the NFL. They're well respected in the industry for covering the NFL. Jay Gruden's contract extension happened. There was a meeting with Daniel Snyder, the Redskins president of football operations, Bruce Allen or whatever it is, Jay Gruden and his agent at a bar. They negotiated at a bar. They negotiated Jay Gruden's new contract while at a bar with him and his agent. What type of fucking hypocrisy are we running in this Redskins organization? We fire one guy that did nothing but win you football games because apparently he's got too much of a drinking issue for my liking, yet we're going to give our head coach a contract extension at a goddamn bar.
It's unbelievable. Unfreaking believable.
First of all, I don't drink all the hell you want.
Right.
Okay, I own this franchise to win football games and Super Bowls. I'll drink with you if it means we're going to enjoy it a little bit more and enjoy the ride. I'll drink with you. I don't care. Pour me the glass. Just win me football games. When was the last time the Redskins had 2 years of stability like this? Gibbs, right?
Gibbs.
So the fact that this was even a conversation to fire the guy to me was completely fucking ridiculous. Now, the tail end of this story, because I'm not done with call-out time of Daniel Snyder. Apparently the new front runner for the Redskins general manager job is one Mr. Mike Mayock.
Ooh.
I think Mayock's a complete blowhard. I listen to him talk. He does the Eagles preseason games.
Right.
He's worse than Gruden. He doesn't meet a prospect that he doesn't like. Like everybody plays great football. There's no reason be excited about everything. Mike Mayock for me is a complete tool. Now, with that being said, he is one of the respected sources when it comes to evaluating draft talent every single year. So okay, if your theory is, he's great with the draft, that's who we want as our GM, good for you. Whatever. Seems like a viable replacement. I'm an Eagles fan. I could really care less who you bring in to replace McLaughlin. But apparently Snyder has said they will not hire a new GM until after the NFL draft.
What an idiot.
What the hell is the point of Mike Mayock being your new GM if you're not even going to have him here for the draft? That's what the hell he does. He evaluates
it's
the
Snyder
draft.
being Snyder.
This guy's the worst owner in
He
football.
is. It baffles me that he still owns the team.
It's
fans,
funny at this point.
Even their own fans
I don't
like
Jeffrey
Snyder.
Lurie. I think Jeffrey Lurie's a bad owner, but
But at least he cares, Jeff Lurie.
Exactly. He's not Daniel Snyder. He holds that franchise back. I don't feel like Jeffrey Lurie holds this franchise back. I just feel like there's a lot of things about him as an owner that he could be better. That could make him better. He's got some traits as an owner that I feel could be much improved. But when you look at you're ranking the worst owners in sports, Snyder's got to be up there.
He's
in football.
way up there.
I think
Snyder's all the way up
he's
there.
the worst owner in football.
He's probably the worst owner in sports. Period.
There's some bad ones. There's a lot of bad ones, especially when you go throughout all the sports.
Right. The only other one I could think of would be
there's some guys that there's some guys that got racist
Donald Sterling.
The Donald Sterling. So
Yeah.
hell, what's his name? The New York Knicks owner, James Dolan's fucking terrible. He's a terrible owner. That guy. I don't know. He's probably right up there with Daniel Snyder. He's probably not much worse.
Right.
They're
probably equal.
Jerry Jones is a bad owner, but he's not on the level of those two. Those two are just a couple of knuckleheads.
Yeah.
But I look at good ownership groups. I look at the Steelers ownership group.
The Rooneys.
I look at the Rooneys. I look at things like that. That's the type of ownership. I looked at Kraft out there in New England, what they do out there. Arthur Blank seems to be
Arthur Blank,
a really good
great
owner with
one.
the Falcons. He just kind of gives whatever resources you need. I'll give you the resources, but other than that, the only time you're going to see me is when I've got my hot wife on my side and the TV camera pans to me when my team is about to go to the Super Bowl. That's a good owner.
Right.
Daniel Snyder is a complete fucking control freak.
He is. No signs at FedEx Field.
And I get it. Like, if I'm going to own a team, like George Steinbrenner was a control freak.
But he was a good control freak.
George Steinbrenner also won. George Steinbrenner made it clear. Winning is very important to me. It's second only to breathing. Breathing first, winning second. Those are the two most important things in the world to me. A great owner right there.
Yep.
That's a great owner. As a sports fan, as a fan of your team, I can get on board with that guy.
Right.
Like, seriously. That guy, he's committed to winning. The only thing more important to him than winning is living. Well, hell, you know what? I kind of in the same boat. Yeah, besides living, winning. I want to win in life. Besides breathing, the only other thing I want to win. In life, I want to be able to breathe. I want to be able to win. Those are the two things in life that are obviously in order to win in life, you got to be breathing because, if you're not breathing, you're dead. So, yeah, I'm with that theory. That makes a lot of sense. Good. I can see why you're successful here, Mr. Steinbrenner. So, yeah, Daniel Snyder, just this guy. Since the last time we did the rundown, the reason I had to talk about it is because last time we did the rundown, this is all that has transpired.
Right.
And they've also signed Terrell Pryor, which actually I think is going to be a really good signing for
I
them.
actually like the Terrell Pryor signing for Washington.
Going to give Cousins a go-to target. That's a perfect target for Cousins too. Big possession receiver. And I think Cousins is playing the Redskins for a fool. I love the way Kirk Cousins is playing the Redskins. He went in there and said, he wanted a trade. They said, we're not going to trade you. He said, okay, then I'll just sit here and collect this money from the franchise tag. Think about this. I believe the Redskins could then transitional tag him after this year.
Yep.
If they were to transitional tag him after this year, that means Kirk Cousins makes more than $73 million over the past 3 years. Between last year, this year, and then next year, Kirk Cousins would make over $73 million. Tell me that's not a smart businessman right there.
That's smart.
That's somebody that's looking out for themselves. Like, okay, fine, don't sign me long term. I don't need you to sign me long term. I'll play on the franchise tag. Most players don't want to play on the franchise tag. I'll collect that money. Hell yeah, I'll collect that money. Because now, because the position Kirk Cousins is in now, say he has a bad year this year. After 2 really good years of football, last year and 2 years ago, and then last year, this past year, right, where he was like top 3 in the NFL in passing yardage and stuff. Even if he takes a step back this upcoming year, somebody's going to be clamoring for him in the offseason. Somebody's going to want him. Whether it's the Broncos, whether it's the Texans, whether it's the Jets, whether it's the Browns, whether it's the Cardinals, somebody would be clamoring for Kirk Cousins if he became a free agent.
Now, since it's call-out day, there's a bunch of mooks over at a site called PI. A guy likes to plagiarize.
Yes.
And
I'm aware of who they are.
Yes. And they made a shit-ass meme about apparently, let's say, Tony from PI says, I'm sorry, Eagle fans, but I'm not completely sold on Howie's offseason so far. How doesn't anyone get upset about us just letting our former third-round pick walk because of another bad contract we had to eat? Benny should be an Eagle. Tony.
Is that Tony Bruno trying to be funny? That sounds like
no,
something
it's not Tony Bruno. It's Tony from PI.
Yeah, I know. No, it sounds like something Tony.
It sounds like
Tony Bruno would say just to be funny.
No, if it was Tony Bruno saying that, I would find it funny. But coming from a site that likes to steal show titles and plagiarize our articles.
First of all, we had already signed Vinny Curry long term.
Right.
There was nowhere to sign Benny Logan after you had already signed Vinny Curry. So that's all ridiculous. I remember sitting here having this conversation back during the middle of the season when people were like, well, we're also going to have to re-sign Benny Logan. I was like, we're not re-signing Benny Logan. You already re-signed Vinny Curry, so that money that went to Vinny Curry means you're not going to re-sign Benny Logan. Then he wasn't any good anyway, so you shouldn't have re-signed him to begin with because he wasn't any good.
Right.
So whatever. But one more call-out. I want to call out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers real quick for overpaying the hell out of Deshaun Jackson. $12 million a year to Deshaun Jackson is an overpay by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I know they had the cap space, and $8 to $10 million I might pay Deshaun, but $12 million a year to Deshaun Jackson at this point in his career, that is a complete overpay by the Buccaneers front office. They wanted to bring him in there because they were hoping he would help improve Jameis Winston, give him a deep threat and all that. And with Mike Evans there, that he would be this deep threat that stretched the field for them and became a game breaker. I'm sorry, $12 million for him though, if you're the Buccaneers, is a complete overpay. Think about it. Alshon Jeffrey got 14.
Right.
Deshaun Jackson,
and $8 million of that is guaranteed.
Deshaun Jackson got 12. He's the second highest paid free agent wide receiver this offseason. Terrell Pryor got $8 million. Deshaun Jackson got 12. Kenny Stills got 8. Torrey Smith got 5, which that's stealing money too, but Kenny Stills got $8 million from the Dolphins, $8 million a year from the Dolphins. Deshaun got 12, maybe 10, but 12 felt like that was an overpay by the Buccaneers. We're going to take one more break. This is the Rundown, A2DRadio.com. We're going to talk about March Madness. Opening round is obviously underway. A lot of the potential fun upsets are going on as we speak.
Fun upsets?
The 12-5s, the 13-4s, the upsets that everybody gets excited about. Come March Madness time, and everybody wants to see the 13 seed beat a 4 seed,
right,
and a 12 seed beat a 5 seed.
But we actually do have some updates right now at the bracket. I've been keeping it.
Well, we'll get into that. When we come back.
All right.
We'll come in to the other side of the break with some of those updates. This is the Rundown, A2DRadio.com. We're brought to you by the Sports Outlet. For all your sporting needs, go to 703 Black Horse Pike, Glendora, New Jersey, 856-939-2030. Email sportsoutletnj@comcast.net. Visit the website, sportsoutletinc.com.
Do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet. For all your sporting needs, located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com. For all your sporting needs, the Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
The Rundown, only on A2DRadio.com.
This is the Rundown, A2DRadio.com. Apparently Sean Watson misread a text from Ralph.
No,
When
God.
Ralph texted both of us to say he's still not allowed to drive because he's going to the doctor's on Wednesday to see what's up with his knee.
Okay.
I guess Sean took that as assuming that we should that we have no show today.
Oh,
or he
jeez.
was looking at the messages from above that.
Oh,
That was from last week when we did cancel the show because
oh.
of the snow.
In the names of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, bless your heart.
He must be the sickest man in America. So we have some updates for March Madness.
We do have updates for March Madness right now. Let me go get our magical bracket. Right now, over in the matchup between Baylor and New Mexico State, Baylor's leading 70 to 53. Starting right now is Oregon-Iona. Oregon has a 23-17 lead right now over the Gales. Over at the Michigan-Oklahoma State, it looks like Michigan is going to win right now with the final score with 23 seconds left on the clock with the score of 87-81. Over at the half right now is Arkansas and Seton Hall. They are tied at 37. And that is the update so far for the tournament. The next game that will be tipping off soon will be Louisville and Jacksonville State.
Ugh.
They'll be going off in about 20 minutes.
Louisville is just the amount of trash that university, like,
Duh.
so it's so unclassy. Just
It's Louisville.
Well, no kidding.
It's
but,
full. It's full of it.
That university does a great job of representing, that city.
It represents
the city's
trash.
a piece of shit, and so is the
Well,
university.
it's not that bad. I was there.
Oh, stop it! That city's a piece of shit.
It's
the only thing
it's
that
not
city
the
can
best.
take credit for that's
It's
actually
not the
good
best.
thing
Is
is the
Muhammad Ali.
birthplace of Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
It's
that's
the only
that's
thing
the only
they can
thing
take
good.
credit for.
Louisville,
Other than that,
it's-
everything about Louisville sucks.
Yeah.
Even their chicken.
What now?
Isn't that where Kentucky Fried Chicken got found? Oh no, Papa John's is based in Louisville.
Papa John's is based out of a broom closet in Louisville.
All right, I take it back. Muhammad Ali and Papa John's. Other than that, Louisville sucks at everything.
I hate Papa John's.
I love Papa John's. Papa John's is awesome.
It doesn't sit well in my stomach for me. Yeah. Are we calling out Louisville right now, or
I guess so. Yeah.
on how a bad city it is?
I'm still arguing with people on Twitter.
Oh
I was still hoping that you were updating us more on the.
no, those are the only games that are going off right now.
So is there more first round matchups tomorrow?
No, this is the last day of the round of 64. The
All right,
first.
So what would the brackets look like after this? What are some of the matchups to look forward to next week?
Well, we
We have
have
Villanova, Wisconsin, right?
Villanova, Wisconsin, 2:40 p.m. tomorrow over at the Crashing Broadcast System Network. We have Virginia and Florida going off on Billionaire Ted's network. Iowa State, Purdue also on the Billionaire Ted network over at TBS. Middle Tennessee, Butler, the upset that everybody saw coming when Middle Tennessee, the school I absolutely despise, defeats Minnesota. Let's see, Gonzaga, Northwestern, also on CBS. Notre Dame, West Virginia, CBS. Xavier, Florida State on TNT, and St. Mary's, Arizona, also on CBS. So a lot of good games to watch
I'm going
out
to
for
piss off
tomorrow.
all the Philadelphia people. Wisconsin's going to beat Villanova.
I have Villanova beating Wisconsin.
Yeah, well, that's because you're a bandwagon.
I'm not a
fan.
bandwagon. I
You
love
are,
Philly
you're a
Big
homer.
Five basketball. I love Philly Big Five
Villanova's
basketball.
not even Philly.
Yes, it
That's
is.
Radnor.
Yeah,
That's
the
a
Burbs.
Philadelphia
It's the
suburb.
Burbs. But it's still Philly.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. Are we serious right now?
It's a Philadelphia area school.
Philadelphia area.
Yeah,
what
it's
about
still Philly.
Villanova is a rich kid preppy school with 3/4 of the kids coming from New York and shit, New York and Connecticut and places like that. There is nothing about Villanova that is Philadelphia.
Well, if
Temple is Philadelphia.
Temple is Philadelphia.
Temple represents Temple is the heart and soul of Philadelphia.
But tell me when Temple's gonna have a game over at the Big Joint, and we'll see.
I don't really care. You can't just sit here because Villanova's playing well. We can't all sit here and just jump on the bandwagon as Philadelphia fans because we want a Philadelphia area team to do well. Great. By that logic, let's all be Philadelphia Union bandwagoners and throw a goddamn parade when they win the MLS Cup. And
Don't
if
wake
that
up the
happens,
Philly
I will
influencer
leave.
people. They
I
love the
swear to
Union.
God, I'm going to leave Philadelphia. I'm ashamed of my fan base. No parades for the Union winning anything. Stop it with that.
I have Northwestern beating Gonzaga.
Well, I like that. See, I like that. That's a. I like that's a gutsy upset call.
That was the big upset call. That was was waiting to happen because for some reason I knew Northwestern was going to win against Vandy.
Villanova. Bunch of rich kids from New York, Connecticut, North Jersey, and South Jersey. They don't even have kids from Philadelphia there.
You never know. Let's see. The other upset I was looking at right now. Once the rest of the bracket fills out, I know the winner of the Creighton Rhode Island matchup. Whatever that's going to happen. It looks like. I mean, I have Iona upsetting Oregon, Rhode Island upsetting Creighton, and Rhode Island going to the Sweet 16. So that's going to be an upset pick that I'm looking at. Other than that, I got nothing else. This has been a very
When is that Wisconsin-Villanova game?
tomorrow at 2:40.
Great. So when I'm doing the rundown next Friday, I'm going to tell everybody I told you so. This is the rundown. A2dradio.com.
Whoa,
We
ending
thank
so soon?
everybody.
Wow.
We thank it. Yeah, it's been an hour and a half. I'm tired of
an
talking to myself.
But you were talking to me too.
Well, it's like talking to myself.
Oh, that's not really nice.
Nobody said I was going for nice. I've been going for entertaining the whole day. It's been call-out day.
It has been call out day, and it's been a great call out
It's
day.
been fun.
It's been fun.
Yeah. The Rundown, A2DRadio.com. By the way, the World Baseball Classic, because we'll take this 5 more minutes to give you.
Never mind then.
So you don't, well, yeah, you could keep the music going on low if you wanted to, but we won't make you rush out. We're going to give we'll let you
almost made me
transition out
rush out.
smoothly. The World Baseball Classic, I've been watching a lot more than I have been spring training baseball as of late. And I tell you what, late at night or early in the morning, 2, 3 a.m., there's nothing more entertaining on TV than the World Baseball Classic.
I haven't really got a chance to watch any of the World Baseball Classic, but the big story everybody's talking about is Israel making a run at it.
The Fighting Jews.
You got to go with the Jews. It's Israel.
I mean, hey, listen, I mean.
The team known as
everybody
Israel.
likes the Cinderella story.
Well,
Israel's
considering
that team.
Considering that Israel, I mean, has no native Israelis on the team, which apparently if you're Jewish, you can actually qualify as an Israeli player.
Yeah, of course. Exactly.
Right.
How else were they going to make that work? Just
unless if you want to use the Israel Baseball League and use teams like the Bet Shemesh Blue Sox and the Petach Tikva Pioneers.
Sounds phenomenal. Wait, they have a professional baseball league out there in Israel?
They used to, the Israel Baseball League. I think they folded in like 2011 or something.
Like the Australian Baseball League.
Like the Australian Baseball League. It was
folded too.
Really?
Well, the old one, the original one.
Gotcha.
I think they brought back a new one in Australia.
Yeah, that's what they did.
But the original Australian league folded.
Yep.
And that was like one of the top professional leagues on the planet for a long time.
But
back in the 80s and 90s.
Israel is no longer in the tourney, falling out to
I watched
Japan.
the Netherlands and they believe it was Colombia go 14 innings or whatever, or 11 innings or whatever
that
it
was something.
The Netherlands, see, that's another one. That's an interesting because you don't necessarily just have to be from the Netherlands. Curacao, Aruba.
That's right. That's right. I forgot about that.
Those are all technically
they're part of the
Dutch.
Netherlands. Yeah,
they're Dutch territories.
Dutch territories.
They're Dutch territories.
Or Dutch
provinces.
countries in the Netherlands, basically.
Right.
Kind of like how the United
Netherlands
Kingdom's
is
a
pretty much
country.
located over in mainland Europe.
Yeah.
The Netherlands is over there in mainland Europe, and you've got what is it, Amsterdam,
and, The Hague, and
cities like that
Brunson.
in the Netherlands, and then Curacao and Aruba are obviously in the Caribbean.
Yeah, and
they're
then
more Caribbean islands.
And then you also have like the Bonaire and what's it called? Saint Martin, another one.
Everybody's coming from Curacao.
Everybody's
Jonathan Scopes from Curacao.
Jurickson Profar.
Curacao had quite a few of remember those teams that won the Little League World Series back in the day?
Wasn't Profar on one of those teams?
Scope was on one of those teams.
Yeah,
they had
Peter
three
Scope.
different. Jonathan Scope. They had 3 different major league, 3 different guys that eventually went on to become major leaguers that were on that Little League World Series team back in the day. No wonder they went back to back.
Yeah.
Actually, the first player from Curacao to actually make it big in the big leagues, become really, really famous, was Andrew Jones.
That's right, Andrew Jones.
Andrew Jones got signed out there as a 16-year-old.
Is he still in the league? Andrew Jones?
He was the Netherlands hitting coach, or the Netherlands defensive alignment coach.
All right.
He was aligning the defense for them.
Huh.
Yeah, the Netherlands I think could have a chance to win. They're really talented.
Yeah, they're in the semifinal one. They're going to face the winners of whoever's winning Pool F so far.
And then the USA game, the most recent one, with Hosmer hitting the go-ahead home run in the 8th inning.
Yeah.
That was
against Venezuela,
exciting.
right?
Really exciting. Yeah, Venezuela's been involved in it. They had an 11-10 game they were involved with. They got 10 run ruled in a game.
Yeah. Ain't that something?
So, yeah, I've been World Baseball Classic, most entertaining thing on TV past midnight.
Yeah.
Can't find anything more. Only thing more entertaining on TV after midnight might be porn. I don't know, depending on who you are.
What kind of TV box do you own?
I've got 1,000 channels. You can go
same
find the porn
same
stations.
here.
Not
but
that
I have
hard.
to buy my porno in order to watch it.
Well, nobody likes to. I like free porn. Free porn.
Free porn. You have it on the internet.
Best type.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
This has been The Rundown, A2DRadio.com. We're brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center. Thank you for tuning in to The Rundown, A2DRadio.com for Zach Byrne, Frank Vespi. Take care, everybody.
Oh, jeez.